This happened 2 months ago in January of 2019. My parents went out to a party. They told me they wouldn't be back until at least 3 a.m. in the morning because the party was supposed to start at 8 p.m. and the party was going to be in New Jersey. We live in Connecticut, so it takes a while to get there and back. They told me to watch my 10-year-old brother and expected me to be responsible because I'm 15 years old. When they left, we watched movies all night while eating a bunch of popcorn. It was around 11:30, and we just finished watching Infinity War. I told my brother to brush his teeth and go to bed. I stayed up later than him to watch the movie Logan. The movie ended, and it was around 2 in the morning. I was getting ready for bed when my brother came down the stairs. I asked him what he was still doing up, and he said the boogeyman was in his closet and wanted to touch him. I looked at him in confusion. My brother isn't the type of kid to pull pranks or joke around. He wanted me to check it out. I said fine and started saying he probably just heard a house noise. He said he heard a noise coming from his closet, and when he checked inside, the boogeyman was there and said he wanted to touch him. We went inside his room. I turned on the light and we went to the closet door. I opened it, and what I saw made me seriously angry. There was a tall, scruffy-looking man with long, black, greasy hair. He looked as if he was in his mid-40s and was fairly built. I was pissed off when I saw this creep watching my 10-year-old brother sleep, and I figured out what my brother meant when he said the boogeyman wanted to touch him. I was so pissed off. I punched his throat. He dropped to the floor gasping for air, but I stepped on his face as hard as I could at least 6 times. He was covered in blood and was having trouble breathing. I grabbed my brother and ran into the bathroom, locking the door and calling the cops. Then I called my parents. My parents freaked out. In about 10 minutes, the cops showed up and searched the bedroom. He wasn't in there. They searched the house. He wasn't anywhere to be found. I gave them a good description of his appearance, and an officer even stayed at our house until sunrise.
My name is Jessica, and I was 8 at the time this occurred. I was the youngest and the only girl, so my older brother Hunter was taking care of me. At the time, Hunter was 14, and we had to stay home while my parents went to the bar with their friends and my older brothers, since they were much older than us. Our house was in the middle of the woods, and our closest neighbor was maybe half a mile away. My brother and I stayed up watching TV shows until 2 in the morning. We finished watching an episode of Full House when we heard a very big crash upstairs in my brother Josh's room. We stared at each other for a moment. Then my brother got up and grabbed one of the kitchen knives and told me to come upstairs with him, just in case there was something in the house and he didn't want me to be left alone. My brother is a brave guy and doesn't get scared easily, so right now he wasn't very consumed of fear like I was. I followed my brother up the stairs, and he then came to a halt, which made me bump into him. He stood there for a second, in silence, just standing there. I got antsy and asked him what was wrong. He then said, "Go get the house phone and call 911. Me being confused, I looked to see what was in front of only him to make him ask me this. And there stood a white man, about 6'3", with dark brown hair and bloodshot eyes. I told Hunter that he needs to come with me because I had no idea what this man would do to him. I grabbed Hunter's hand, ran downstairs, and grabbed the house phone. We dashed into the bathroom and locked the door. I could hear the footsteps of the man slowly walking down the stairs. I could hear my brother on the phone with the police behind me. I was fixated on the footsteps, which got closer and closer to the bathroom door. It was silent, as I could no longer hear my brother on the phone or the footsteps. When all that made me wake from fixation was the loud pounding of the bathroom door, I screamed in fright. for the man was at the door now. He stopped for a moment, and I could hear his deep, harsh breathing. He then whispers, "I'm not gonna hurt you. All I want to do is give you kids some sweets." My brother then yelled, "We don't want any of your damn sweets." I could tell my brother was getting angrier by the second. And then the door handle starts to shake very fast and frequently. We back away from the door and by the window, which was across the room from the door. My brother opened it just in case we would need to escape this way before the police got here. The man punches through the door and starts to grab for the handle. We jumped out of the window and landed on our grass, and we sprinted to the woods. We found this big bush to hide behind. We crouched down and waited for something to happen. Few seconds later, we heard police sirens in the distance. We saw the man from the window run down the stairs and out of the front door. He ran into the woods and ran past us. Thank God he didn't notice us there. The police pulled into our driveway and we saw a chance to run to them. We dashed to them and told the police he was in the woods. They searched for him, and once they came out, they had him in their clutches. I've never been more relieved in my life. We stayed at the house with a police officer until my parents and older brothers arrived home. 2 days later, the police had found our neighbors murdered, and that the man was on a killing spree, and we were about to be next. I am now 13 and still have nightmares of that time. Hunter moved out and my parents moved to the city so we wouldn't live so far out.